The solution to this problem is x equals 9/7. Well, let's see how we got 9/7. Whenever I see an equation with fractions in it, the first thing that I want to do is get rid of the fractions, because I don't want to have to add, subtract, multiply, and divide fractions all the way through solving the problem. To clear the fractions out of an equation, I look at all the denominators, which I have 6, 2, and 3, and I have to find the least common denominator, because I want to multiply the entire equation through by the least common denominator. The least common denominator of 3, 2, and 6 is 6. So I'm going to multiply the entire equation through by 6. I have to multiply 6 by each term that is in the equation. I'm going to write the steps out here, but once you get comfortable, you can feel free to skip this step. So I have 6 times 1/3, and 1/3 is being multiplied by 2x minus 1. On the right side of the equation, I have 6 times negative 1/2 x plus 6 times 7/6. When I multiply 6 times 1/3, I get 6 times 1/3 is 6/3, which gives me 2. And that's going to be multiplied by 2x minus 1. On the right side of the equation, I have 6 times negative 1/2 x. 6/2 is 3, so I have negative 3x. When I multiply 6 times 7/6, the 6's cancel out, and I'm just left with a 7. Once I clear the fractions from the equation, I need to distribute wherever needed. Here I have 2 times 2x minus 1, so I need 2 times 2x, and I need 2 times negative 1. 2 times 2x is 4x, and 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. And I just write down the other side of my equation. Once I've cleared the grouping symbols and distributed where needed, I would combine like terms on each side of the equation. However, here there's only one x term and one constant term on the left side, and one x term and one constant term on the right side. The next step is to move all my constants to one side of the equation. We learned that whatever you do to one side of the equation, you have to do to the other side of the equation. So if I add 3x on this side, I have to add 3x on this side. When I add 3x to both sides, I have 4x plus 3x gives me 7x minus 2 equals negative 3x plus 3x is 0, so I just have 7. Now that I have the variable on one side of the equation, I need to move the constant to the other side of the equation. When I add 2 to both sides of the equation, I get 7x on the left side, negative 2 plus 2 is 0, and I get 7 plus 2, which equals 9, on the right side. So I have 7x equals 9. The last step is to divide both sides of the equation through by the coefficient of the variable. The coefficient of the variable is 7, so I divide both sides by 7. 7/7 is 1, so I have x equals 9/7. Solving an equation with fractions in it is a little bit more difficult, but if we simply multiply through by the least common denominator, all the fractions disappear and you're left with a simpler problem to solve.